Good evening, fans of speed gaming, fans of Randomizer, fans of Link to the Past. We are here today with a casual boost race for you. It's the Speed Gaming Daily Race with Randomizer. I am Ryan DM. I am joined today by Radical Sniper 99.
Good evening. Yeah, we got a casual boots. So that means our runners will start off with a sword and the boots and have to do the standard escape sequence. From there, it is a 7-7 seed. This race does have 21 runners going tonight, but we are showing you 4 of them: P-Train, Immortal Koi, Hitsian, and Moogle Charm.
It seems we had quite a bit of interest in this race this evening, and hopefully we're going to get a really good show starting here in the next handful of seconds.
Yeah, casual boots is definitely probably a favorite mode of a lot of runners. This is a good chance for runners to kind of show off some good execution. Your better execution runners will definitely have, you'll see them perform just that much better throughout.
It is certainly a showcase, especially in the beginning where you get the escape sequence. All 4 of our featured runners today are going to be showing you exactly the same thing. You'll see just how well they do it.
Yeah, you talk about your classic NMG kind of run, and how you hope for like a sub 6 in the NMG. With boots, this can get low 5s and still check all the items. One of the benefits, of course, of this is that you don't need a bomb to get through this section either.
It is nice, although it does mildly devalue knowledge of the prize packs.
That was a nice glove find in the uncle portion of Escape.
Always nice to get a glove early. You're not going to be worrying about checking the back of Escape with it, but it's one of your pieces for Dark World access.
As P-Train is the first of our runners down into the basement portion. And this is definitely some very classic NMG strats. Knowing how to get through this section with a sword, invaluable in this mode.
Most certainly, although the NMG muscle memory may not help you when you have the boots sometimes. That's kind of a separate skill here. You do still have everybody pretty much following on each other's heels closely at this point, which is nice to see.
Yeah, all our runners doing great on that second blue guard with that key.
That key does have to show up within the front portion of it. The latest it can possibly appear is Dark Cross. Getting the classic sword strat from P-Train, the NMG strat there. Hitsian opting to add a little pot usage into the mix. It does tempered sword damage, so it's pretty handy.
Immortal Koi just having to go back for those pots. Unfortunately, taking a bit of damage up to that point, so playing it a little safe. As we do find that Ether Medallion.
It's nice to have that early with the sword. You can even use it if you get into a situation that you want to.
And you are seeing some of those deviations from your typical NMG. You saw it on P-Train and Moogle Charm's side, and also now on Immortal Koi. Rather than going down and around the barriers on the lower level, most runners in a casual boots will actually dash down to those stairs and do the longer straights. It's a further distance, but you can actually save some time just by dashing throughout.
I certainly tend to just follow the normal route there. I need to learn exactly where that stair is to line the dash up properly.
Luckily, there's nothing to it. You just dash straight down. So if you're coming out of that door right above it, just dash and you'll be on the stairs.
Good to know.
I believe so far we haven't seen the map here in the escape, so that's one of our items, but we still have 3 more left.
I believe you are correct. It was just a full heart container there in the Dark Cross area. But P-Train's found it right in the middle of those 3 hidden chests off the left-hand side.
So we will see the sanctuary chest. And yes, Sahasrabot is wrong. This is not Swordless Open, all dungeons, map, compass. Ooh, boy.
P-Train was first through at 5 minutes and 12, rather.
And a nice little pack of bombs. Perfect timing before heading to Kakariko Village.
Yep, 3 bombs will do everything you need to do there. You've got the boots to get the library item, and if you need to check the race game, it'll get through that wall as well.
Luckily, race game is also a wall that you can bonk through, similar to the escape one, as we get blue mail and bonk rocks.
Even the good runners are not going to turn down a nice little early safety like that. Of course, you've already opened the chest. You don't get to turn it down at that point.
And we are going to get an early lumberjack ledge check on P-Train's side, and that is one of our medallions.
I believe that was Ether.
Oh, yeah. For some reason, I thought we had gotten Ether in Escape. I was wrong. We got Bombos.
And Flippers on the mushroom spot.
It's definitely a helpful piece of information for at least P-Train and Moogle. Hitsian did skip it, and I think Immortal Koi did as well.
I believe you are correct. We just have a piece of heart there at the forest drop down.
And that was a nice. What tier pull was that? Was that a tier 1 for P-Train?
I'm not sure if he did a pull on his way up to the lumberjack check or not. It was either a 1 or a 2.
I thought that was tier 1 because I thought we saw at least a tier 2 earlier.
If that was his second pull, that was probably tier 1 then. I think you're right. A bottle in the back of Lion's Hut. That'll enable a sick kid check here in a moment.
Yeah, a lot of money here in Blind's Hut.
Seems thematically appropriate. And a cape and a moon pearl in the well.
So we are just short the hammer now for Dark World access.
Or if the seed intends to be cruel and unusual, a lamp for Aga access.
And we already know there's some added value possibly for that Aga play.
Well, at least a couple of our runners do have that knowledge. It'll be interesting to see whether it plays into anything. Looks like we had the arrow of destiny in the chicken shack and just a little bit of love from the small child.
Still a good Kakariko village, and we also get the bug net out of the back of the tavern.
It's certainly not a village to turn down. We got several items on offer here.
And hey, there's our Master Sword on the library.
Because the village wasn't stacked enough already. That kind of clears out the initial set of items. Let's see where our runners want to go next.
Looks like Hitsian's going to head down to South Shore, at least the dam. I think, the question is, will Hitsian go left to Agina or right towards Mini Moldorm at that point? I would anticipate Mini Moldorm, but I've been proven wrong many a time with those boots.
I'm personally a fan of taking that left-hand turn over to Agina simply because otherwise it's really easy to orphan that check. But then Hitsuyan's really good at this game, and I am not.
Yeah, with the boots, that's probably the best time to consider this, knowing that you can get there really quick. A lot of runners would wait until possibly finding, Flute. But Hitsian is going to head over to Mini Moldorm at this point.
As a matter of item density, it makes all the sense in the world.
Meanwhile, Moogle's actually completely bucking the trend and heading towards Sahasrahla.
It's a fairly quick and easy check with the boots. You don't even have to expend a bomb.
And the only real prize out of there was our blue cane.
You're probably not going to turn down that blue goo in a bottle either, although being the second bottle, it's not quite so important. Having paid that check, it looks like Moogle's going to go ahead and follow the leaders.
We did get half magic out of that Mini Moldorm cave. And Hitsian's making a heads-up play here. Gonna grind out the rest of the money to do Zora.
It's a good bit of game knowledge there to know that you can lift that rock up and get 20 at a time. It appears he's also going to set himself up a water walk here, probably.
Yeah, even with the flippers, the water walking's gonna save you a good amount of time getting around. We are seeing the hobo on P-Train side for just 20 bucks.
Here's some money, kid. Go away.
Yeah, nicely done with the water walk, avoiding the shallow water. If you have flippers and you're in a water walk state, touching the shallow water will actually cause you to lose your water walk.
I have done that more times than I'd care to admit on stream.
I think we all have at one point or another.
Immortal Koi needing to play it a little safe here with just one heart remaining.
Ooh, and Immortal Koi, unfortunately, taking the death there from those crabs. Even at the blue mail, they are doing a heart of damage with every hit.
Meanwhile, Hitsuyan just picked the hammer up out of the waterfall fairy.
So yeah, that's Dark World access. It could be a while before Hitsuyan ever will check out Lumberjack and might not even think about that Aga play.
That will be something to keep an eye on as the seed progresses. Of course, we're not really in any position to check either of the medallion requirements just yet. And Zora scamming as he does.
But Hitsuyan's going to make for some initial Dark World checks, starting off at Hype Cave.
Five items on offer makes it a nice first play.
As we are getting a map check, that was 5-6 at Ice and Pod, I believe. And then I saw Pendant at TR.
Looks like we have Pendant Desert and a couple of regular crystals at our other Light World spots.
And yeah, that's a pretty non-hype cave.
Less hype, more tripe. That seems to be the way it goes recently.
I mean, given that our runners did just finish up paying 500 rupees, you know, the rupees aren't a bad thing. They now have money for Dig Game if they decide to go that way. But yeah, that's really a whole lot of nothing.
It is nice to have the money to make the rest of the rupee checks that are on offer in the Dark World, but yeah, aside from that, not really doing anything for you.
Yeah, and that was a green pendant TR and a pendant Skullwoods. So that definitely helps in possibly not needing Ether, because that does remove one dungeon.
Well, right up until something like the hookshot is just in pendant TR.
Yeah, pendant TR is definitely one of our denser dungeons, so very likely it could have something.
Especially with the green pendant adding one additional check at the end.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of zeros and 0.1s out of 10 or worse for that hype cave. I'll give it a 1 just from, 300 rupee. That's money that we don't have, but yeah, it's not really helping.
Itsuyan seeing our third bottle at the Catfish.
Yeah, and P-Train following right behind. And Hitsuyan's going to head over to the eastern area. Whereas Moogle Charm is actually heading over to Village of Outcasts. Or Skull Woods, more particularly. Now, Moogle Charm did not check out Hype Cave. And Immortal Koi actually decided, rather than going to Quakefish, is heading over to Dig Game, as well as checking out Stumpy.
Yep, nice to see a little divergence here. The play into Pendant Skull Woods kind of tends to be a matter of taste amongst runners, I think. Some people really like to put it off. Some people say, yeah, just treat it as Dark Overworld.
Yeah, for having, I think, the reason a lot of runners will avoid it is just because there's only 2 items actually in Skull Woods proper. And Hitsuyan getting the information about that Ether Medallion.
Warriors is going to sequence break right up the mountain. You won't see Hootsuon here for a minute, although we'll see some sparkles off the sword.
And as chat just pointed out, Immortal Koi finding the flute over at Dig Game. So Koi going over that direction instead of over to Quakefish, paying off nicely.
It's a good bit of mobility, although Hitsuyan doesn't know it. Everything other than the actual old man turn-in up here on the mountain that he can do is going to be in logic with that flute.
Yeah, and we also got the Tempered Sword over on Mugglecharm's side in Skull Woods. So a lot of these checks are just paying off very nicely for our runners.
Yep, P-Train picking that one up as well. And a shovel there on the desert ledge that Immortal Koi just ran by. So you want to see a fetch quest. You don't even get to do the fetch quest, you just see it.
And yeah, there we go. The that was our Titan's Mitts over on Bumper.
And Mugglecharm is beelining for it. Hitsuyan with the Spike Cave check there, just a piece of heart.
This is a really important advantage over on Mugglecharm's side. Hopefully does get that flute soon, but I imagine Moogle will do Thieves Town and then head and do Dig Game, as well as probably picking up Jeremiah for a potential Smith turn-in.
Having cleared out the front of Skull Woods already, that would seem to be the logical routing choice for him. P-Train getting a little bodied there by Gibdos in the hand. Well, it seems like he was pretty much done there anyway.
Yeah, it's nice to get. You almost always aim to get out without a mirror to get wall mastered there to kind of make your escape a little quicker. Or at least when you don't have Cane of Samari to make that check quick. And P-Train's about to get his Titan's Mitts. Wow.
A nice little double take there that he did. He looked at it and then thought for a second, looked back.
Yeah, while Mugglecharm is into Thieves Town, this will be a full clear.
It's a crystal dungeon. He has the hammer on offer, so not going to have to leave anything behind. And there's the ice rod.
Don't know if you really want to see that in this one, but you got it at least.
I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and have no idea where in the world it is.
Unfortunately, P-Train taking a death there while getting out of away from Bumper Cave or Bumper Ledge.
Looks like going to take advantage of a bad situation and go check King's Tomb for us. For a full heart container, a little more safety on offer. Meanwhile, we've got Mugglecharm here charging into the attic of Thieves Town, going to blow open the skylight and make one more check. Just 20 rupees.
Our flute was at Dig Game, so we should see that soon for most of our runners. It was just that Moogle was the only one who went over to, Koi was the only one who went over to Digging Game. Whereas P-Train and Hootsuon both went up to Quakefish.
And Mugglecharm started at the village portal and did Skullwoods first.
And we will get to see that big chest in Thieves Town as we find the small key in the Maiden's Cell.
As long as you have the hammer in hand, you don't worry about that too much. The single piece of heart there is probably not something worth worrying about in the end.
But all of our runners are going to have that Titan's Mitts momentarily. And we are now getting our first boss fight of the game, as Moogle Charm will take on Blind.
Blind informing us that he got his tires fixed for a flat rate.
Just a little off script there, but still a great clear there.
Really, as long as you can stay on script through the first two phases, it's not too tough to kind of finagle your way through phase 3.
Exactly. So I imagine Moogle Charm is going to head down to Dig Game and then probably pick up the Smith, do a save and quit to turn that in and activate the flute.
Yeah, it seems entirely reasonable. You want to get your flute activated reasonably quickly.
But right now, our runners are all pretty much going over each other's footsteps. I have to believe we're going to see probably a check of the Meyer area very soon, just to find out if you might need that from Ether Medallion for Meyer.
Now that most of our runners have seen it and they'll have the Titan's Mitts and the flute in hand, it's a good play. There's also a couple of items on offer there in the Meyer Shack. Moogle's going to show us the hammer pegs here. Just 50 rupee. I think he's going to turn his nose up at that, and he does.
I'm guessing Moogle Charm is heading to check out Stumpy, because I think that is the one thing skipped on that end.
Gets a 20 for his troubles, but that's all he's going to get.
And I think we're actually going to get a Froggy World Tour here, it looks like.
It seems to be, since Moogle Charm started at the village portal, Pipe Cave is still on offer as far as he's concerned. And at the end of it, he can quit Sanctuary and go turn in the frog and activate the flute.
Unfortunately, going to get the bad news that our Hype Cave is not so hype tonight.
Less hype, more cash.
And given that we've really been finding decent amounts of money in the rest of the seed, and we've got at least 2 bottles with potions in them, I don't think, even potion money is a concern here.
Yeah, it really doesn't appear to be. Of course, with the flute, you can always go get a little more if you happen to need it.
And it looks like that froggy tour is continuing all the way up to our quakefish.
It's a natural endpoint for it when you have the hammer.
And there's P-Train getting his flute. And I'm guessing we'll be followed soon by Hitzian as well.
Google Charm will have a look at the Quakefish item for us here. Of course, we've already seen it, but he hasn't, and then I think we're going to get that save and quit right over the sanctuary.
I think there's a decent chance Moogle Charm will check out King's Tomb as well real quick.
Not going to be all that thrilled with what's on offer. If I recall correctly, it was just a heart container. But when you're still in your first row, you think, alright, a little more safety. And Immortal Koi has made his blind kill.
And there is our flute activation on P-Train side. And I'm guessing we'll see that soon as well from our other runners who had not yet. So, yep, there's Moogle Charm activating the flute, and Hitzian probably will not be too far behind on that as well. And what does the Smith have for us? Well, we are very safe in the seed. There is our red mail.
Red mail, 8 hearts, that'll get the job done for these runners. Looks like P-Train's taking the play over to use Bombos Medallion to get into ice.
Very interesting play. Has all the equipment really to do this, but not what I would have expected. A lot of our runners these days have kind of put off Ice Palace, hoping for the Cane of Samaria before heading in here.
Well, with the Icebreaker glitch, you can crack this place wide open, but, you know, it is a crystal dungeon that he otherwise has everything he needs to full clear. As long as he's
Moogle
comfortable
Charm.
with the old-fashioned Ice Palace bomb jump, he's good to go.
Moogle Charm did check Agina just now, only finding a piece of heart. So that does get rid of that little stray element.
And that was our first item of 3 on offer in Ice Palace, just a single rupee. Moogle Charm making the play that I had expected and taking that flute over to the mire area.
And that was Ether on Mire, so this is an Agaseed, everybody.
Yeah, guaranteed 100%. Mire is a crystal and Ether is its requirement. We know where it is, it's on the Lumberjack.
But there's our lamp out of the Mire shed. So Aga's now open, and Moogle Charm is going right for it. And I completely understand this play.
It At this point, he has more than enough firepower to make the climb not just relatively, but incredibly easy. There's no real reason to put it off.
And Immortal Koi is actually going with purple chest real quick. So we're definitely getting some nice divergence here from all of our runners. And we are about to see P-Train go for definitely the harder of the bomb jumps of Ice Palace. But very nicely done.
The positioning on that one is a little finicky.
Hitsuin getting the information that Meyer is Ether.
And we'll be picking up his lamp momentarily.
And Hitsuin is also going to head up to Aga Tower, going right with the information.
To answer a question in chat, Moogle is in Castle Tower because Moogle is one of the 3 runners on the restream who has seen that Ether is at the Lumberjack, and knows that Ether is the medallion for entry to Misery Mire today.
This has been a very smooth clear, though, so far on P-Train's side for Ice Palace. Nothing too earth-shattering, but definitely a nice clear of the dungeon happening.
And a very nice execution of what I think might be the hardest bomb jump in there, because if you fail it, there's no really recovering from that. The other one is more precise, but if you fail it, you just fall off and start back at the door, and you can try again. But he's found a heart container and iced tea for his trouble.
And I think we're probably about to get the easiest bomb jump in Ice Palace right after that.
Yep, stick yourself in the corner, put the bomb down, and wait.
So I think that is all 4 of the bomb jumps of Ice Palace on P-Train side. So nice little tutorial here.
Immortal Koi getting the bad news out of Spike Cave, just a piece of heart.
And so as Moogle Charm and soon Hitsuin are going to be on those Aga fights, P-Train is dropping down into Cold Stare.
It's a fairly free and easy fight with the Tempered Sword. We may get some nice spin dash strats here in a moment. No, he's just going to slash away.
One of those puffs getting out of that corner, but still a really nice job. And that's our powder.
That certainly could be part of the answer to maybe where's the bow or the fire rod. There's still quite a bit outstanding for our runners.
Yeah, we're missing bow, hook shot, fire rod, mirror,
Cane of Samaria.
Cane of Samaria. So quite a few items still on that we're on the lookout for. And P-Train is going to immediately turn in that powder.
It's the only thing of real interest he found in Ice Palace to make the play more than just one of the crystals that he had to complete. It would be nice to push the advantage from the powder. Moogle, meanwhile, making that quick grab of the Ether Medallion.
Unfortunately, nothing on the magic bat this time. At this point, I think the seed might be pointing us over to a bolus Eastern or pod right now.
That seems entirely possible, and when you get to this point in a seed and you start looking at Palace of Darkness, it has quite a few items on offer, even if you don't have the bow to get to the boss.
Yeah, unfortunately, Death Mountain really we don't have much that we can do up there without the hook shot or the mirror. Everything is pretty much just locked still there.
Yep, they're going to have to find one of the two. Of course, once they find either one, they're going to have access to a great many checks up there.
Nice spin there by Immortal Koi on that Pen Gator room. As P-Train also gets that information on, finds the lamp and also about that Ether Medallion. Or, well, momentarily. Okay. I was about to say, did P-Train not see the medallion? But no, he did.
To answer the question from chat, the mode is Casual Boots, which is a standard 7/7 seed where you start with a sword and the boots on your feet.
And as Moogle Charm is headed into Ice Palace for that clear, Hitsuyan actually deciding to take that medallion and go straight for Misery Mire. Going with the logic and saying, you know what, it's very likely this could be the next step.
It is a bold play without the Cane of Samaria in hand, but, well, the trolliest thing that the randomizer can do to you is to put the vanilla item in its vanilla dungeon, if not its vanilla location.
That is not an uncommon occurrence, so I don't blame anybody for making this play.
P-Train, with his knowledge of that Mire Medallion, is going to go ahead and make his Akka climb now.
Yeah, our runners are definitely avoiding Eastern Pod area given no bow right now.
And this may have just paid off in spades for Hitsuyan, pulling the hook shot out of the second chest of Misery Mire.
Yeah, that's a great find, and even if we do not see Cane of Samaria as the other item here in Mire, it's still huge. And there's our big key on the arena there. As we are seeing Immortal Koi taking on Cold Stare. Nicely done. A nice safe fight, especially, having that red mail and tempered sword. Swamp, we still require the mirror to get through, so technically out of logic until we find the mirror. But it's getting close.
Looks like Hutzion has finished making the checks that he can make in Mire and is headed straight for the mountain with that hook shot.
And that's definitely the densest play right now. We have all of East Death Mountain, Hera, and then all of Dark Death Mountain. And yeah, it's interesting that Hitzian did not check out cutscene chest, but that is a lot of time to spend. But there's our first bow over in Paradox Cave. So Hitzian immediately taking that that hook shot, and really it's paying out.
Yep, that is the one advantage he found there, and pushing it makes all the sense in the world.
And there's the other one, Red Cane. And realistically, I think at this point, Hitzian is just a mirror from Go mode.
That is entirely possible at this point. The fire rod not needed for Pendant Skull Woods or Pendant DR unless we're forced to fish something else out of there, but I don't think we're going to be unless it's the mirror.
Seeing now inside of Tower of Hera, I anticipate we are going to see the Hera pot strategy. So, nice little quick way to get through this dungeon. And Hitzian is using the bonk setup and bonk and bomb setup.
That bonk works out really well for positioning the bomb, then you just have to line yourself up. Koi now making his way over to Catfish, going to find that third bottle. Not really what he's hoping to find at this point.
And P-Train heading into the Mire area again, so this looks to be a Mire play, which will definitely be to P-Train's advantage.
Meanwhile, Hitzion just blasting through Moldorm there.
Unfortunately, getting the small key off of Moldorm. So yes, we do have an item in Hera Basement, and that is never a good feeling. But Hitzian doesn't care. Hitzian is going to skip the Hera Basement and just hope that the mirror is a lot better accessible here on one of our other Death Mountain checks.
When you're one item away from Go mode, that's a pretty long check to miss, you know? You have to sit there and wonder, when do I go back for this if I want to make this gamble now?
So Mugglecharm is checking out that middle chest of Skull Woods. Unfortunately, it was nothing. I believe Moogle had died a little earlier and wasn't able to get that chest.
This is going to be a bit of a tough play for Koi without the knowledge of the Ether Medallion, and thus not going to be following the chain up to that bow on the mountain is making the play into Eastern. Now, there is another bow out there in the wild somewhere, so this could yet work out, but you're counting on one bow at this point, even though you don't know it.
Yeah, unfortunately, can't blame Koi for this move. None of the options are that appealing. Hookshot Cave giving us a lot of love, but no mirror yet. And just some bombs to close it out, so Hookshot Cave is not the answer.
Koi's discovered that Eastern is not the answer and is heading to Pod. Meanwhile, Hitsuyan is following right on his footsteps, but he has that bow from the mountain in hand. I think this is going to work out a little better for him.
Yeah, and really heads up play here for Hitsuyan. Going to head in a pod first, hoping for that mirror.
Well, with the flute in hand, it's not too bad to get back to one way or another.
Hitsuyan did check out Spike Cave a lot sooner, so that was why Hitsuyan does not check that.
We have a small key on the left-hand side of Pod today, so the bow lock is not in effect. It's more important for Immortal Koi than it is for Hitsuyan, though.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, though, because it's just going to continue to send Koi further into Pod and further away from Meyer.
And Moogle Charm is making the play that we know he needs to make. He'll find his hook shot in here in Meyer in just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, nice use of time there. Moogle Charm did clear out Ice Palace and then decided to make that play to Meyer. The seed is pretty, I wouldn't say screaming Meyer, but it's definitely making it clear this is an important place to go.
And as we might have expected, Hitsuyan is going to show us the bow locked side while Immortal Koi goes to the back. The big key is bow locked today.
Now, Immortal Koi is still finding small keys, which allows him to continue to search this dungeon. And there's our last bottle. Now you see Hitsuyan is actually going to take that big key and small key from the Bolok side and just go straight after Helmasaur, hoping to get that mirror off Helmasaur King and not even having to check out the back of Pod. And we also saw P-Train doing a different Herapod strat. That is the hook speed or spin speed setup.
I find that one to be substantially trickier than the bomb, but maybe that's just me. Also, I figure I've always got bombs on offer, so that seemed like the more important one to learn from my point of view.
Yeah, from a utility standpoint, you will always be able to do the bomb setup that Hitzian did. The boots or spin speed setup or hook speed setup is, I think it can be quicker if you can set it up quickly, but it can be a little finicky on the execution. And Moldorm is saying no to P-Train 3 times.
Uncooperative worm is uncooperative. And P-Train gets the bad news that the basement has an item on offer.
Sitian takes down our Helmosaur King. Just for the map, though, so we'll likely see Hitzian head back into Pod to clear that out.
And Immortal Koi just went and got his knowledge of the Ether Medallion on Lumberjack. We'll probably see a climb of Castle Tower here very shortly.
Yeah, unfortunately, not checking Lumberjack at the beginning of this seed is coming back to bite Koi a little bit.
We have Hitzion now on the back of Pod. P-Train is about to have his look at Dark Death Mountain. Moogle Charm is in Light Death Mountain, and as expected, Immortal Koi is in the middle of an Agatower climb. So as we sit here at 56 minutes into the seed, let me remind you that these runners are putting on a great show for your entertainment. Are you not entertained? Please, if you do like what they're doing, give them all follows, as well as my co-commentator Radical Sniper 99 and Arteril and Raids are doing our tracking today. They are doing yeoman's work, especially when we have quick swap enabled and no longer really get to see the menu all that often.
Yes, quick swap, while great as for a runner, makes life a lot harder. And also shout outs to me and DM on the other side of the comm tonight. As we got that fire rod. I didn't point that out with on Koi's side, but we did also see that from Hitzian.
At this point you get it and you're hoping that it's one of those handy-to-have things for Ganon's Tower, rather than something that you're going to need to carry into, say, the back of Skull Woods or the front of TR.
I think what helps us with the Skull Woods side of things is I believe we saw both items out of Skull Woods, because I think that was our Tempered Sword and a Heart Piece. So there are no items in Skull at this point, but that does mean that Turtle Rock could be important. And unfortunately, I don't think any of our runners checked what the medallion was.
Probably hoping not to need it. Now, you know, you really would hope not to need it. It's just one item left. But that doesn't mean the seed can't tuck it away on Laser Bridge.
Now, P-Train is doing the Eastern Pod play in reverse, instead deciding to go Eastern before Pod. Could save a little bit of time if we do find that mirror here on one of the, on Armos.
Looks like Moldorm was particularly uncooperative to Moogle Charm, bounced him right out of the arena. But on round 2, Moogle Charm has done, has done the work, and down goes the worm.
I do see some hopes from our from the chat for a mirror on pedestal. If you're hoping for mirror on pedestal, we are looking for a book.
That would in fact be a required book to get into Pendant Desert in that case. That Igor in the dark being uncooperative with P-Train, kind of eating his first attempt at the arrow.
As Hitzian does take down Armos Knights, gets that compass. But there's another crystal. That is Hitzian's 4th crystal. I wouldn't be surprised to see Hitzian head over to Ice Palace after this.
No, from his perspective, there are still 3 items outstanding there. Any one of them could be the mirror, although we know they aren't. Also, with that Cane of Samaria in hand, he can go ahead and clear out Meyer whenever he's of a mind.
And it looks like you had the call. Hitzian is heading back to Meyer. And there's our 4th crystal also for P-Train. So right behind Hitzian in terms of those crystal counts, I imagine we'll see P-Train head back to Pod, or head over to Pod now.
Yeah, probably a quick flute to 5 and into the Dark World. Meanwhile, Moogle has decided that Bombos opening TR looks like it might just be a play here. Let's see if he actually goes in.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this play on Moogle's side, but I understand the motivation here. Unfortunately, without that Fire Rod, not going to be able to do everything quite likely. Kind of hoping that Moogle Charm does not find Fire Rod or find a key, and does not. So very quickly locked out at least.
That's the seed saying your answer lies elsewhere.
Plus side is, given that Moogle Charm does know that that was a Bombos required TR, we'll be able to return. I don't think most of our other runners actually checked out the medallion for TR.
I believe you are correct, and we're seeing some spooky action from Hitzian there. It's a glitch that starts at the flute into the mire area. You position the duck on the screen by stepping below the rock that has the portal under it. And then you carry some Ancilla trickery all the way down through, kick up some dust with your boots, lay your Samaria block, and you have an altitude value that has offset your Fire Rod splash damage, so you can hit switches that you can't really see.
We're getting some nice spin setups for the Vitreous fight, and now just down to 8 shots with the bow. Down goes Vitreous.
Just the compass, but it is yet another crystal in hand.
And that also opens up our Pyramid Fairy.
It looks like Hitzian has ice in mind rather than Pyramid Fairy at the moment.
Definitely a good play. Wants to keep going with the dungeons and This will be Hitzian's 6th crystal, so 3 items, and a crystal is definitely more valuable than the Pyramid Fairy at this point. And for Hitzian, this is actually going to be a much cleaner Ice Palace, having the Hook Shot and the Cane of Samaria. So a lot faster than we saw from all 3 of our other runners, actually.
It appears that Immortal Koi has found his hookshot and is going to go ahead and press that over onto the mountain.
Yeah, unfortunately, Koi just, checking out Eastern and Pod without that bow. Gonna have lost a bit of time there, but did get the Fire Rat out of Pod, so maybe we'll see Koi head into Turtle Rock from here, and might find that mirror first out of our 4 restreamed runners.
That is possible, and it would be an advantage right where he needs one.
And just as a reminder, as we are seeing these 4 runners here, we do have 16 other runners. We had 20 people enter this one. So quite a bit of racing going on here. Popular mode tonight with casual boots.
It's always nice to see a good turnout for these dailies. P-Train picking up his crystal out of Pod, leaving him 2 to go.
Gonna head back in to get the back of Pods, that including that Fire Rod that we saw earlier.
That seems to have been the favored play, is to go kill the boss first, just in case he has the item you're looking for, since the boss needs to go anyway. And Moogle Charm picking up a crystal out of Eastern. That appears to be his 4th.
Nice routing through Ice Palace for Hitzian there. Icebreaker does make this dungeon a lot quicker than the method that P-Train had to take through it. And actually all of our runners.
Yeah, it pretty much freezes blink and you'll miss it status once you have Icebreaker on hand.
I don't believe we've seen any of our runners turn in that mushroom yet. And apparently I'm corrected that we did see it, and it was only 3 bombs. And really tonight, Moldorm is just not allowing runners to get into the arena.
When you guard the drop in, you're probably as safe as you're going to get. That is Mortal Koi's 3rd crystal of the match.
Now here's the big question, as Hitzian is turning in that mushroom and gonna be, done with things from there. Are you going up the mountain, or are you gonna do Pyramid Fairy?
That's a really tough call for me. I think just because the density in Turtle Rock is nice, but the climb is so long, you can check Pyramid Fairy relatively quickly. Especially if you want to play around and get some damage boosts for dashes and so forth. Maybe dupe the bomb there at the end.
And we're seeing definitely a split within the chat as well. Some people saying they want to avoid that climb, others saying, you know, there's the density in TR. So either play is definitely understandable. It's just which one is actually going to have the item. Oh, and here's one we haven't seen yet. Immortal Koi actually going to check out Hera Basement.
We're starting to run low on checks. This may, in fact, be the answer he's looking for.
Unfortunately, just a shield. The hypest of shields.
Fisher-Price Hero's first shield.
And here we go. Hitzian is going to check out that Pyramid Fairy. So is this our go mode here with the mirror, or is it somewhere else? Is it TR? Is really the only other option we're thinking about here?
Seeing a little bit of come on book from the chat. I see what you're thinking there, chat. I see what you're thinking there.
And there's another Vitreous kill over on P-Train side. Nicely done. And Pyramid Fairy is not the answer. Only money.
Money and more money is not going to do it. We can't go by the mirror. We've checked the money checks already.
And yeah, unfortunately, you know, while we do have that Aga portal open this time, we do not have mirror to make that even worthwhile or a possible check or a possible route. So we did have to take the slow way around the pegs. P-Train is not far behind, though, heading to the Big Bomb shop. And we'll check Pyramid Fairy momentarily. And then probably also head up to TR.
Yep, he and Hitzion seem to have had very similar ideas of how they want to make this play. It looks like Koi has no interest whatsoever in making that play into TR, is going to go back home and flute elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm guessing this will be a play to clear out some of the dungeons from earlier. Koi can go back and finish off Meyer, Pod, and Eastern. Even though Koi has seen pretty much all the items from those dungeons, it's a worthwhile play.
They are, in fact, crystals that he's going to have to pick up sooner or later.
But we are seeing Hitzian go through TR now. So this is just past where Moogle Charm was able to check earlier. We were Fire Rod locked in TR. And really terrible start.
Yeah, nice little hookshot iframes there on the way in, and then the blue cane on the way out.
But we have both our map and our compass from the front of Turtle Rock. So two very vanilla items, I believe. If not in reverse location.
And that means we're going to get a vanilla big key as well, because this had to be a small key to allow him to continue in the dungeon. B-Train as expected, following right on his heels.
Once again, we were just looking for that mirror. Mirror away from go mode.
The lava chest being the last possible location for the TR big key is, in this case, the TR big key by default. As a reminder to chat, if you want mirror to be on pedestal, we need to find the book here in TR.
The other item we do have coming up here is the green pendant. Possibly could be important here. Turtle Rock is our green pendant, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a turn in if we don't get that mirror soon.
Our runners are certainly running low on possibilities. Itzion will be reaching Laser Bridge here momentarily.
Meanwhile, Koi is in Mire finishing that up, getting a second shield.
Not really the item he's hoping to find, but it is a little safety.
And we do have 3 items here on Laser Bridge, as Chad is pointing out. So we will hopefully see something. We have to see something here. There's our small key in the second chest. And it is not Laser Bridge for the answer.
Redarang and bombs in those last 2 checks. Now we've already seen both the map and the compass, so there is an item on Trinax. Looks like we're going to get pretty close to simultaneous Vitreouses here on the right-hand side with Immortal Koi and Moogle Charm.
Meanwhile, Hitzian is in the Trinex fight now. We've got an item and the green pendant here, so 2 items possible for the Trinex fight. Nice quick kill on the second phase of Trinex, as also Immortal Koi and Moogle Charm take down Vitreous. And we get the Butter Sword off of Trinex, so not the answer yet.
That green pendant looms a little larger. Looks like Hitzion spinning through that quick swap menu to the flute and heading for 5. Yep, that's going to be the green pendant turn in, folks.
Yep, this is logically the best choice on the menu, so can't deny this decision. And there's the book
And
on
it's the
green
book.
pendant.
All right, Seed, we're picking up what you're putting down.
Chat
Now,
feeling very, very optimistic here.
and of course, running right by that shovel on the ledge. Let's see, is it an item in the dungeon? Is it on the shovel? That we now have full pedestal access. We could do the thing.
I know a lot of chat is hoping for pedestal here, but I'm almost on the opposite end of this, hoping, what about ether tablet? That would be a really rude find.
That would be incredibly out of the way. It would be one thing if it had been in TR, maybe, you know, then you save and quit to the mountain and you just go and look, but Moogle Charm with that Pyramid Fairy check, just finding the 20 and the other 20. Hitsuyan finding a piece of heart in desert.
So first item was a dud. We do have one more item with desert, but we are running out of checks on Desert Palace as well.
Now, if it's you, if you don't find the item in here, you found the second item, and there it is, it's 20 rupees, it's not in here. Do you go for the boss, or do you go grab the shovel and check the shovel first? It's reasonably quick with the flute.
I think you have to grab the shovel, but also defeat Landmo here. We're down to technically the dig spot, pedestal, and the ether tablet. So I think you have to kind of hedge your bet here and do this. You have to kill Landmo. But I could be wrong. Hitscene does have that flute out. And is heading out. So if it is pedestal, Hitscene is going to last location pedestal at this point, and I don't blame the decision. You know, that's not a bad decision on Hitscene's part.
It's certainly a position where you can defend either play. The shovel is a much quicker check. And it is the right check. There is the mirror.
So that means at 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 40 seconds, Hitscene has entered go mode.
Okay, Rando fans, blink and you're going to miss this the Swamp Palace play that's coming up. I expect we'll see him check one chest and get the item off the boss, and that will be it. P-Train finding his red rupee in Desert Palace. That is his second item, and probably heading directly for the shovel now. Immortal Koi is back in Palace of Darkness. Looks like heading for the back.
Yeah, unfortunately, having to make a second trip to the back with that big key had was unable to grab this that first time. As we know, the big key was on the Bowlock side.
And it looks like P-Train's going to make that same play, devaluing the pedestal and instead heading straight for the dig spot. Not going to lose time against Hitsuyan on this one. And as I say that, Moogle Charm is heading for his vanilla big key in Turtle Rock. We happen to know that he still has a bit of a slog ahead of him, since killing the boss is required to net him the butter sword, but more importantly the green pendant.
Meanwhile, Immortal Koi is heading towards the Pyramid Fairy turn-in after getting that second of the 5 Styx crystals off of Pod. Not heading back to Eastern for now, and understandable. I believe we did see all 3 items in Eastern Palace, so...
I believe you are correct. I think that both P-Train and Hitsuyan managed to skip the Vanilla Big Key chest, so it has one of the 2 dungeon items in it. To answer a question in chat, the mirror was at the dig spot, with the shovel on Desert Ledge, with the book on the green pendant turn in at Sahasrara, out of green pendant Turtle Rock.
Yeah, nice fun little logic chain there. And as P-Train enters Swamp Palace officially, Hitsuyan is on Argus. So, as we said, very quick Swamp Palace, really nothing required here. Just go to the back, kill Argus, you're done. And with that, Hitsuyan has his 7th crystal.
And is ready to head for the mountain at 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 20 seconds. So, although we don't use the bot for the dailies, Radical Sniper, do you have a spot in Ganon's Tower that you tend to think that the big key is going to show up for you in?
Traditionally, I found 7 to be almost a lucky number in this, and I almost feel like that's so, weird or like normal to say as a number pick, but it does seem to happen very frequently. How about yourself?
I tend to a little more to the pessimistic side. Something in the 11 to 15 range seems to be my usual GT big key.
Now,
So,
what would be your route for this?
For that route, you've gone to Hope Room, gotten a small key, done all of Compass Room. You've seen the torch item, so it's probably somewhere down in Rando Room, or maybe Fire Snakes or something.
Okay, so you're a much